Coming up on Top 30, the latest from Las Vegas, plus reactions to the deadliest mass shooting in American history, and how to talk to your kids about the tragedy. These stories and more are here on Top 30. An elder sister laid on top of her brother. People cowered under cars, and others helped complete strangers to safety as a hail of gunfire targeted around 40,000 people attending a country music concert on the Las Vegas Strip. More than 55 people were killed and more than 500 injured, making it the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history. Police say a gunman opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, which overlooked the country music concert. The gunfire erupted during Jason Aldean's final song, and some people said they initially thought it was fireworks but realized it was more when Aldean was rushed off the stage and the popping noise didn't stop. One mother says she covered her baby and ran to the bleachers for cover. Another man says he saw flashes of light coming from the Mandalay Bay Hotel and he, quote, helped everyone who was breathing. The local sheriff asked people to donate blood, and even before dawn, there were long lines of people waiting. Here's what information police are releasing about the shooter. His name is Stephen Paddock. The 64-year-old was from Mesquite, Nevada, about an hour northeast of Las Vegas. The sheriff revealed he had more than 10 rifles in his room and checked into the Mandalay Bay on Thursday. He killed himself as the police tried to enter the room. Right now, police say the shooting has no links to overseas terrorist groups.
Shock, grief, and disbelief. Just some of the emotions people are expressing as they react to the tragedy in Las Vegas. President Trump addressed the nation Monday, calling the shooting an act of pure evil.
Our unity cannot be shattered by evil. Our bonds cannot be broken by violence. And though we feel such great anger at the senseless murder of our fellow citizens, it is our love that defines us today.
Trump also said flags will be flown at half-staff to honor the victims. Country singer Jason Aldean was on stage when the gunfire started. He posted a picture on Instagram that said, "Pray for Las Vegas," with the caption, "It hurts my heart that this would happen to anyone who was just coming out to enjoy what should have been a fun night. Hashtag heartbroken, hashtag stop the hate." The Las Vegas Police Department tweeted, "Our condolences go out to the families who lost loved ones tonight. Thoughts and prayers are with all of those affected by the tragedy." Many politicians, celebrities, and everyday Americans took to Twitter to echo those sentiments, and here at Top 30, we do as well. O.J. Simpson is a free man. His release came early Sunday morning after serving the minimum 9 years of a 33-year sentence for an armed robbery in 2007. The jail posted a video of O.J. on Facebook as he took his first steps back into civilian life, saying the Nevada Department of Corrections, in an effort to ensure public safety and reduce the potential for incident, released Orenthal James Simpson. According to the New York Daily News, O.J.'s attorney, Malcolm Laverne, said he came up with the early morning release with the Nevada Department of Corrections so the 70-year-old wouldn't have to battle a media circus. The Hall of Famer was granted parole in July, where he said he planned to move to Florida to be with his family. However, AP reported state parole and probation captain Sean Arruti said Simpson's only approved living plan was in Las Vegas. Now that he's out of jail, let's hope OJ can stay out of the news for a while.
More relief is finally coming to remote parts of hurricane-battered Puerto Rico, but is it coming fast enough? Governor Ricardo Rossello said on Sunday that almost 500,000 barrels of diesel and over 1 million barrels of gasoline were on their way to the island. That fuel is needed to distribute food and supplies to remote areas and to power generators. According to NPR, just 5% of the island has working electricity. Several US Navy ships have been sent to the island, and federal agencies said they have more than 10,000 workers on the ground, with more on the way. On Friday, San Juan Mayor Carmen Yulín Cruz criticized federal relief efforts as, quote, killing us with inefficiency. That prompted a series of 18 tweets from President Trump on Saturday. He slammed Cruz for having poor leadership ability and said Puerto Rican workers, quote, want everything to be done for them. The president is visiting Puerto Rico on Tuesday, but it is too late to stop the government's response, specifically his, from becoming an issue.
Major League Baseball's regular season wrapped up this weekend, and it was an all-or-nothing year for hitters at the plate. Let's start with the nothing. Batters struck out 40,104 times during the 2017 season. If that sounds like a lot, well, it is. In fact, it's the most ever and marks the 10th straight season the record has been broken. And now we get to the all. Major League hitters also set the record for most home runs in a season, with 6,105, beating the previous mark by about 400. So strikeouts are up, power numbers are up, meaning fewer balls are in play, and that means less action during the game. So will this trend continue into the postseason? Well, the playoffs start on Tuesday, so we won't have to wait long to find out. These are your quick hits. The Nobel Prize for Medicine has been awarded to 3 Americans. According to the Nobel Foundation, the winners took home the coveted award for their work and discoveries on circadian rhythm. More than 2 million citizens voted in Catalonia on Sunday to declare independence from Spain. The region's president made the announcement, saying the citizens of Catalonia have won the right to an independent state in the form of a republic. However, Spain will not recognize the vote. And finally, visitors to Disney World may have been lost last week on their way to the Epcot Center. A road sign at the popular Florida attraction read Epoch instead of Epcot, and had many tourists scratching their heads. Disney has since corrected the sign, but no word yet if they invested in spell check.
Let's go to the New York Stock Exchange for our Fox Business Minute with your friend and mine, Nicole Pedalides. Nicole, I hear there's some Jet.com news.
That's right, Richard. Well, Jet.com is launching a grocery brand for Metro millennials. It's called Uniquely J. The brand will feature everything from non-perishable grocery to coffee pods and olive oil to packaged goods like laundry detergent and paper towels. The millennial-geared brand is set to launch in the next few months. Apple is now the largest watchmaker just 2 years after launching the first Apple Watch. The tech giant has overtaken Rolex. That's according to Simco. The research firm estimates that Apple sold roughly 15 million watches in the last year, bringing in $4.9 billion. Well, Amazon beat Twitter in the battle for NFL viewers. An average of 372,000 people watched the Bears-Packers game on Amazon on Thursday night. Last year, just 243,000 watched Twitter's first NFL live stream. Right now, Amazon is estimated to have 85 million worldwide Prime members, Richard.
Excellent, Nicole. Were there any other factors that might have played a part in those viewership numbers?
Well, it turns out the analysts say that the e-commerce giant Amazon may have gotten lucky on this one due to a better matchup. Last year was Jets-Bills. This year, Bears-Packers. Now, here's another element. There was a weather delay of 47 minutes due to lightning nearby. So we'll see. The jury is still out on this one. Richard.
Sounds good. Nicole, you are excellent. Thank you.
You see their cute faces, little paws, and sweet smile, and you just want to get that new puppy. But a new warning says most online ads for dogs are a scam. Thousands of customers have been ripped off, losing millions of dollars, according to this new report by the Better Business Bureau that looked at sponsored ads that appeared in an internet search. In fact, they estimate that 80% of those ads are fake, and many of them originate in the West African nation of Cameroon. The scam asks the buyer to send money for the pet and then adds on more fees like a special shipping crate, insurance, vaccinations, and food. So to protect yourself, the Better Business Bureau says you should inspect the pet yourself, visit the seller in person, and use a secure payment like a credit card. So even though you may be anxious to find that perfect pup, a little extra effort is worth the wait.
Marine biologists have discovered a blue hole in the middle of the Great Barrier Reef. And here is the best part. The discovery was made while searching on Google Maps. The website Amusing Planet describes it as an underwater sinkhole that looks like a dark blue circle of water in the ocean. The images are absolutely stunning, as you can see. The biologists who made the discovery then investigated to see what was lurking within, and don't go thinking a hole in the barrier reef is a bad thing. It isn't. Johnny Gaskell, marine biologist, said, quote, "What we found inside was hard to believe, considering 5 months ago, a Cat 4 cyclone went straight over the top of it. There was huge bird's nest corals and super elongate staghorn corals, both of which were among the biggest and most delicate colonies I have ever seen." A tragedy on the scale of the shooting in Las Vegas is hard enough for adults to process, let alone children. Joining us now is psychotherapist Robbie Ludwig. Robbie, how do we go about explaining this to our kids?
The key here is for parents to encourage kids to talk about their feeling, remind them that they are safe, and also to focus on the helpers in this situation. In any violent situation, there are always people helping out and communities helping out, trying to figure out how to keep things as safe as possible.
Whatever the investigation throws up, we'll never really understand why this happens.
Horrible things happen. Hopefully we learn from them and we create a way to make the world a slightly safer place in the best way that we can. But it's important to live your life, live it smart, live it protectively. And if something feels too frightening or too scary, give your child permission to say no to certain things some of the time.
Okay, Robbie, thank you.
Thank you.
In today's Hometown Stories from Fox 46 Charlotte, two local women sprang into action to rescue an autistic boy stuck in a pond. Brittany Furr was passing by Lake Park Pond in her car when she noticed the 5-year-old boy by himself in the water. A mother herself, Brittany had a gut instinct something wasn't right.
He had gotten in, and I was like, hey, you can't be out there. Come back. Where are your parents? And he just looked at me and didn't say anything.
Not a strong swimmer herself, Brittany ran across the street to the nearest house and knocked on the door. Luckily, Deborah Fox was home. Deborah swam out to the boy and brought him back to safety. Deborah and Brittany stayed with him until local authorities arrived. The boy is now safe and back with his family. In our second story, the theater district in Houston, Texas came together to host a free concert to benefit the Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund. The show, called Houston Strong, featured all 7 theater district resident companies. Some of the theaters had extensive damage from the floodwaters and are still working to get up and running. At the concert, Catherine McNeil, CEO of Theater District Houston, said, "Tonight is about honoring Houstonians, their resilience, their strength, trying to provide a little enjoyment from the chaos of Harvey." The show featured performances from the Houston Ballet, the Houston Symphony Orchestra, and the Houston Opera. And as a reminder, you can still donate to the Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund by visiting ghcf.org.
There's a luxury RV on the market that travels on both land and water, making it the only amphibious motorhome around, and it costs $850,000. It was actually created about a decade ago and is described as an all-terrain beast and the world's fastest amphibious vehicle. But with the price tag of nearly $1 million, they're still looking for buyers. The RV has all the things that you'd usually expect in your home on wheels, like an updated kitchen with a full-size fridge. But the fact that you can also navigate on water is supposedly the game changer. The owner of the company that created the Terra Wind says, "We just wanted to be able to go out on the water anytime we wanted. It's been a whole lot of fun. But all these years have passed and no one has bought one." So in reality, it neither travels on land or water. In just 5 years, Tesla and SpaceX founder Elon Musk wants to land ships on Mars. At a conference in Australia, Musk said SpaceX will attempt to send at least 2 unmanned cargo ships to the Red Planet by 2022. Those would contain power, mining, and life support systems. Crews would follow 2 years later. Musk wants them to begin building a base on the surface of Mars, and this is what it could look like. To hit their goal, SpaceX needs to begin building its first spaceship by the middle of next year. It is being called the BFR. If for some reason you don't want to go to Mars, Musk said the rocket could also be used on Earth. His company projects it could travel from New York to Shanghai in under 39 minutes, which is fractionally quicker than the 3 to 6 months it will take to get to Mars.
The oldest living veteran is 111 years old, and his daily routine may surprise you. Richard Overton, who's technically a super centenarian, says his favorite things are cigars and whiskey. Overton told People magazine, "I smoke at least 12 cigars a day on my front porch, and most of my whiskey is from Tennessee." He lives in Texas in the same home he built with his own 2 hands nearly 70 years ago. As the oldest living person in any of the 50 states, Overton has seen it all. The World War II vet was here when television was invented, when atomic bombs were dropped, when computers and the internet and smartphones became what they are today. So the secret to his age? Overton says, I don't have a secret. I am here because the man upstairs wants me to be here. He put me here and he decides when it's my time to go.
Eataly founder Oscar Farinetti and his team are opening the world's first foodie theme park. It's called Eataly World. According to Business Insider, the attraction is scheduled to open November 15th in Bologna, Italy. The $106 million food superstore will feature truffle hunts, cooking lessons, a sports complex, Michelin-starred restaurants, and family-friendly rides. And not only can you watch how your food is being made, but on-site farms allow you to see where and how the food served in the park is sourced. The park provides bicycles outfitted with coolers to keep food fresh as you explore the 20-acre complex. Eataly World will employ over 3,000 people. It is green and sustainable because the complex is outfitted with 44,000 solar panels, and it's in Italy, so it's likely you'll never go.
Here's your top 30 health roundup. Researchers at Yale calculated if contact sports like football were made non-contact, there would be an estimated 650,000 fewer injuries to high school and college-age male athletes per year. The savings from medical costs and time lost could top more than $20 billion annually. Researchers recognize making sports like football non-contact would be highly controversial. I mean, can you imagine? But they do hope the information will help policymakers weigh the pros and cons of contact sports. And it turns out exercise does more than just improve your health. It may also improve your self-control. A new study published in the journal Behavior Modification found an exercise regimen caused participants' delayed discounting score to increase. Delayed discounting is someone's willingness to resist an immediate reward for a larger one in the future. Researchers said your ability to value future events can help you make healthier choices and stay away from bad behaviors. And lastly, some universities are installing wellness vending machines containing the morning after pill, condoms, and pregnancy tests. The morning after pill was made over the counter for all ages 4 years ago, but finding it was still difficult and confusing for many students. School administrators hope the vending machines help students gain access to contraception when they need it. While some think the machines may encourage unsafe sex practices, others said it was a step forward. Parteek Singh, a former UC Davis student who pushed for the vending machine's installation, told the New York Times, "This will be big. It's just the beginning."
A lucky boy got a birthday surprise from two NFL players who happened to be shopping in the same store. The 10-year-old in a Colin Kaepernick jersey caught the attention of two Washington Redskins players, Keith Marshall and Rob Kelly. The boy's grandma told the Washington Post that she was in the shop next door when her grandson came in and told her two men wanted to buy him an Xbox One. She said she didn't believe him at first, but walked over to the store and saw Marshall and Kelly. They'd overheard the 10-year-old talking about saving up for an Xbox One, so they ended up buying him the console and even threw in a game. The next morning, the boy's grandma said he woke up and thought the entire thing was a dream, and she had to convince him it had really happened. Electric planes may soon be taking off on a runway in your city because European eco airline EasyJet partnered with Wright Electric to produce the first commercial electric aeroplane. According to Mashable, the duo announced their partnership, saying they have a timeline of about 10 years before electric passenger planes will be in service. They explained that the decade in question will actually be used to perfect the battery technology needed to power a 150-person short-haul flight. Wright Electric, a Massachusetts startup, announced their plans for their electric plane at the Y Combinator Demo Day in Silicon Valley earlier this year. The longest recorded electric-powered flight lasted 1,000 miles and had only one person on board. But here's the thing, airplanes not carrying a load of combustible liquid just sound better.
A little postage snafu ended up scoring a little girl a new pet. Young Serenity Williams lives in Washington, D.C. She wrote the most adorable letter to the pet store chain Pepco in hopes they would read it and send her a hamster. She promised in the letter to work really hard in school and at home if they granted her wish. Only one problem. Instead of addressing the letter to Petco, the word Pepco was written on the envelope. So when the letter arrived at Pepco, the utility company, imagine their surprise. But listen to this. The reps at Pepco contacted Serenity's mom, and going way above and beyond the call of customer service, they arranged to get Serenity her hamster. When Serenity realized what had happened, she was all smiles. And way to go, Pepco, a company that can say they really do go the extra mile.
So that is it for today's Top 30. Here are some stories coming up that are worth knowing about. We will have the latest on the tragic mass shooting in Las Vegas, and we'll tell you about some heroic stories from behind the scenes and how changes to retirement accounts are affecting senior citizens in America. These stories and more coming up on the next Top 30.